This is the 2024 version of the Jim Crow poll tax.
They don't want you to vote.
This bill, they call it the SAVE Act. It should be called the Don't Let Americans Vote Act.
It is designed to jam people up.
Yesterday in the House of Representatives, Democrats demonstrated to the world, and more importantly to you, the American voter, that they hate this country. They hate the Constitution. They hate the sanctity of the vote. And they have no interest in ensuring that only Americans vote in American elections. I know that seems outrageous. It seems hyperbolic. It seems like I'm just pounding on the desk and trying to say outrageous things. But here's the vote, how the tally came in for the SAVE Act.
Have all members voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? On this vote, the yeas are 221, the nays are 198. The bill is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There you go. Lay that on the table, baby. Hope Eric Swalwell didn't hear that. As you can see, the bill, H.R. 8281, is defined at the top there as voter registration eligibility. And yeah, only 5 Democrats voted for it. 10 Democrats, the courageous little noodles, they decided not to vote at all. 198 opposed it. So that's a vast, vast, vast majority of the Democrat caucus. What is the voter registration eligibility, or better known as the SAVE Act? What does it do? It ensures that only U.S. citizens register to vote for American elections. It means that if you're here in this country on a green card or on a tourist visa or student visa or a temporary work visa, or if you're in this country illegally, like the 10 million who have crossed the border illegally since Joe Biden's been president, it ensures that if you attempt to register to vote, you won't be allowed to unless you show proof of citizenship. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't it already illegal to register to vote if you're not a citizen? You'd be correct. Do you know how many people get convicted of such a thing? Basically none. Have you gotten a driver's license recently? Have you seen when you go to get your driver's license, they have you register to vote at the same time? And most DMVs now, or MVAs, if you live in Maryland or whatever state agency they call it to get your driver's license, they have touch screens. And you click through on the touch screen so you can get your driver's license after you pass your test. And there's one thing that says, do you want to register to vote? And say, sure, I'll register to vote. So you click the thing that says register to vote. And then it has a thing on there that says that you are proclaiming and ensuring that you are a citizen of the United States of America. And it's sort of like a sworn testimony. And you click the box and you sign the thing with your finger, and that's it. That's it. And if you are not a citizen, if you're in this country illegally, and you click that box and you sign it and you register to vote, even though legally you shouldn't be allowed to, there is no enforcement mechanism for it. And there is no challenge at that moment by the person at the DMV or wherever you are registering to vote that says, oh, it says here that you're a U.S. citizen. Could you please show us proof of that? None. Now, strangely, if you register to vote and you're under the age of 18, they will check that. You see, they have your birth certificate records there because they have to check to be sure that you're 16 before you get a driver's license. So they've already checked your age, and they've checked the documentation about whether you're old enough to be eligible to drive, and they can extrapolate that information to whether you're old enough to vote. So if you're under the age of 18, you won't get the option to register to vote. So that they check documentation on, but not whether you're here illegally or not. Not whether you're an actual citizen of the United States of America. So this act merely said that there will be an enforcement mechanism and a check to prove that you are, in fact, a U.S. citizen. And Democrats, 198 out of the 213 that are in the House of Representatives all said, oh, no, we can't have that. That's the last thing we want. We're told that it's a right-wing conspiracy theory. The Democrats are in favor of open borders and unmitigated illegal immigration into this country so that they can bring in millions of people from outside this country to vote in our elections. We're told that that's a racist great replacement theory, and how dare you even suggest such a thing. And then Democrats do something like this, where they are not interested in any law or enforcing existing laws that would protect our border and keep people from coming into the country illegally, and then do everything that they can to allow those people to illegally vote in this country. And then when you say, hey, it looks like you're bringing in people from outside our country illegally so that they can participate in our elections, they call you a racist. It's great how that works, isn't it? Maybe if they don't want it to look like they're bringing in foreign people to vote in our elections, they should stop doing literally everything possible to bring in foreign people to vote in our elections. Just a suggestion. To emphasize the fact that you're racist for wanting to ensure that only citizens vote in American elections, Democrats, one by one, filed up to the microphone to call you racist.
This bill is essentially a poll tax, because I am not aware of a single proof of citizenship document that does not cost an individual money to get it, unless we are requiring every state to provide one for free, and then it's an unfunded mandate. This is the 2024 version of the Jim Crow poll tax, and we should vote against it.
This is a poll tax, says Jennifer McClellan of Virginia, Richmond, Petersburg, Emporia. A poll tax, which of course conjures images of Democrat-run segregationist, racist states in the South back in the 50s, 40s, 30s, you know, when Democrats were running things and they wanted to put a poll tax up there so black people couldn't vote because Democrats and racism and segregationism. So it's a poll tax to have to prove that you're a U.S. citizen. Do you have proof of citizenship? No, I don't. Why not? Because I don't have any money. Okay, well, how are you able to function in our society without proving that you're a citizen? Furthermore, the charges of racism escalated as the afternoon went on.
Hypotheticals. It is under attack right now, right here with this very bill. Republicans want to throw up barriers because when people vote, they lose. Let me be clear. They don't want you to vote. They don't want to hear black voices, brown voices, LGBTQIA voices, young voices. Our fundamental access to our democracy is being politicized. And this xenophobic attack that we're debating today will make it harder for Americans to vote. My Republican colleagues will claim that requiring IDs is a small ask, but nearly 30 million people lack a valid driver's license, and about 15 to 18 million adults don't have access to documents proving their birth or citizenship. Americans don't need more obstacles. It's already hard enough.
Actually, it's not hard at all to register to vote. In fact, I would say it's too easy to vote. In fact, I think voting is such a cherished privilege that we citizens have a right to exercise in our country, that I think that it's worth putting up a couple of challenges for people to ensure that that vote is sacred. That actually ensures that those of us who are eligible to vote are the only ones who are voting. That's how much we care about the vote. That's how sacred it is. Let's make people jump through a hoop or two to ensure that they should be voting. That demonstrates how much we cherish it. All of Summerlee's numbers there are completely outrageous and lies, but they're grabbed from left-wing activist groups, and so they're never challenged. You can, in fact, lie on the floor of the House of Representatives without any challenge or any repercussions. To call it xenophobic and racist, we don't want black and brown people voting or LGBTQI people voting. Hey, can you prove that you're a citizen? No, I can't. Why can't you prove that you're a citizen? Because I'm lesbian. The hell does that even mean? This has nothing to do with sexual preference vote. It has nothing to do with identity vote. It has nothing to do with skin color. It's a simple notion. If somebody is here from Sweden with the whitest skin and the bluest eyes and the blondest hair, and they're not a citizen, we don't want them voting. Especially from Sweden. They're probably socialists. Or from Minnesota. Even worse. More charges of racism. Did I say chargism? More charges of racism from your Democrat friends.
To investigate claims of voter fraud by non-citizens was disbanded without identifying one single case. If we believe in the power of democracy, we should reject discriminatory rules rooted in fear and division and instead increase protections and expand access. This bill, they call it the SAVE Act. It should be called the Don't Let Americans Act. Don't Let Americans Vote Act. And so I rise here opposing and asking my colleagues to vote no on this bill.
There you go. It's racist, 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 racist. Did we mention it's racist? Oh, have you not heard the message yet that requiring proof of citizenship to vote is racist? Oh, in case you missed it, it's racist.
And to advance it. John Lewis didn't give up, and neither will we. Mr. Speaker, House Republicans' so-called SAVE Act is a dangerous anti-democratic bill that has no place on this floor. It is for that reason that at the appropriate time, I will be offering a motion to recommit this bill back to the committee. I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting the motion to recommit. Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah, a couple of things on this real fast, because, you know, it's a poll tax, it's a poll tax, it's discriminatory, it's discriminatory. Can you get away with not paying your taxes in this country? No, you cannot. How do you pay your taxes in this country? You file your tax form, your 1040, right? You have to file a 1040, whether it's a 1040 easy or just a regular 1040, you got to file a 1040, right? Can you do that for free? Nope. Nope. Even if it's just the postage that you pay, you got to pay postage. If you're filing a 1040, generally speaking, you're going to need to make photocopies of records that accompany your taxes, right? Don't you? Absolutely. And usually you have to provide some sort of identification along with your taxes. So for filing your taxes to pay the government, they're just fine putting certain certain demands on you, but not for the vote. I wonder why. And by the way, you can extrapolate that to literally anything. If you want to go and visit your congressman in Washington, D.C., depending on what building you go to visit them, you have to show ID. Remember the vaccine mandate? Every single one of those Democrats who just called you racist because you want proof of citizenship to protect the vote in this country, every single one of them was just fine making you prove that you got a shot in your arm before you had any basic functioning in this country. And one last thing about this whole idea that it's racist to ask people to get an ID. That what was the thing that Summer Lee said? 30 million people can't get a photo ID in this country. Maybe it's me. I could be wrong. But as a conservative, if there truly are 30 million people who can't get a photo ID, instead of dumbing down our society and dumbing down our culture and dumbing down the rules and regulations that a basic civilization wants to put forward to ensure that their elections are secure, instead of throwing that down the toilet and flushing, how about this? How about instead of upending and ruining any semblance of basic voter protocols to accommodate the lowest common denominator of people who somehow are incapable of getting a photo ID, and saying, well, that's all right. You go ahead and live your life without a photo ID. We'll just change all of our voting laws to accommodate you. How about this? How about we as a society reach a hand down to people who don't have a photo ID and lift them up to join the rest of us? Maybe we say, hey, guys, you having trouble getting a photo ID? Let's get that done. Let's work together to get you a photo ID. Because the fact of the matter is, you should have a photo ID. You should be able to open a bank account. You should be able to get a job. Did you know that right now, the law of the land is that you cannot get a job without showing proof of citizenship, it's called an I-9 form. You cannot be gainfully employed. You cannot collect a paycheck in the United States of America unless you have proof of citizenship, the I-9 form. You have to show a passport, or you should have to show your birth certificate. All of those things that Summer Lee just said are racist to demand. You already have to do it to get a job. And guess what? I want people to be able to get a job. I want them to be able to cash their paycheck. I want them to be able to open a bank account. I want them to be able to travel. I want them to be able to go to the doctor. I want them to be able to get basic health care. All of the things that you need a photo ID for. So if you've got two people standing in front of you, and one of them is saying, you know what, if it's true that there are 30 million people and most of them are people of color who are incapable of getting a photo ID, thus ineligible for the basic functions of our society and civilization, like getting a job, feeding themselves and their families, moving around our nation on any sort of legitimate transportation. They're stuck in their home and unable to drive a car or get on a bus, and they can't open a bank account. You know what? Let's help those people. Let's get those mostly black and brown people their photo ID so that they can actually join the rest of us and thrive. And then you've got another person who says, those people with black and brown skin are incapable of getting photo IDs, and we're just going to leave them right where they are. And all we're going to do is dumb down the rest of our rules and laws to accommodate them and their lack of capability of functioning in our society. Now, of those two people, which one is the racist? I would venture to say that the one is complacent with a black or brown person not being able to function and get a job and feed their family and have a bank account and establish credit and purchase anything of substance and get on an airplane. The person who is fine with that and in fact encourages that behavior by accommodating them, that's the racist. Even more so, because I think those numbers are dubious. The person who stands in front of you and says that a demand for a proof of citizenship and photo ID before you vote is racist in and of itself because black and brown people, for some incredible reason, are incapable of finding a photo ID or acquiring a photo ID, I think that's kind of racist. I hold black and brown people in higher esteem than that. By the way, do you notice they never say yellow people? Have you noticed how racist these people are? That they, well, Asia, you know how those Asians are. They'll be able to get their photo ID. It's these people that are the problem. Yeah, there's definitely racism at play here, guys. We see the racism. Oh, in fact, let's go to the leader of the racists in the House. Hakeem Jeffries really brings it home.
Only citizens can vote for the United States Senate. Only citizens can vote for the presidency of the United States. So this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill is not designed to solve any problem on behalf of the American people. It is designed to jam people up and prevent Americans from voting. The extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression.
The extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill. That's what they're calling it. Now, these are the same people who claimed that you weren't allowed to give people a bottle of water while they were standing in line to vote in Georgia. Remember that extreme MAGA voter suppression bill in the state of Georgia that Joe Biden called Jim Crow on steroids, made Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle, which, by the way, makes no sense at all. If this bill makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle, that means that it's smaller than Jim Crow. I think what he meant to say was it makes Jim Crow look like Jim Sparrow or Jim Hummingbird. But of course, Joe Biden's brain doesn't work, so I don't mean to quibble. Those exact same people that said that the extreme MAGA voter suppression bill in Georgia was going to be, Jim Crow revisited. The next two elections after those bills were passed into law, we actually saw black voter participation increase in the state of Georgia. These people are so racist. They think so little of black people. It's in their roots. I mean, look at the history of the Democrat Party. This is who they are. It's who they've always been. Who do you think came up with Jim Crow in the first place?
For Republicans is for them to lay the groundwork to undermine the outcome of the presidential election, just as they did 4 years ago, just as they will again and again, until they realize either the futility of this exercise or the republic crumbles.
Oh, there it is. I forgot about this angle. If it's not racist, it's insurrection-y, you see. If you want proof of citizenship for people to vote in this country, and you want to actually ensure that when someone says, oh, sure, I'm a citizen, that they actually prove it, you know, just like when they have to get a job and fill out an I-9 form. If you want that, you're either racist, as you saw, or you're an insurrectionist. Because really all this is to sow seeds of doubt into people's minds that the upcoming election is a secure one. That's what this is really all about. And listen, they have 2 songs to sing, and that's it. MAGA fascists, insurrectionists who are going to ruin our country, Project 2025, and authoritarians, and Trump's going to be a dictator on day one, or racist, and that's all they've got. It's truly all they've got. It's not like they can say, look at how great our ideas are. It's not like they can say, look at the great track record we've got. It's not like they can say, hey, look at the state of California where it's a Democrat utopia and we control things from every level of government. And so we're going to make the rest of the country look like California. They can't say any of those things. So all they've got is fear and loathing and incrimination and name calling. And they actually stand up and say that it's a bad idea. It's an evil idea for a person to prove that they're a citizen before they vote in this country. I am grateful that they're not trying to hide it anymore and that the cards are on the table. That whole conspiracy theory thing, you know, hard to say it's a conspiracy theory when the facts are right in front of you and they're actually affirming. It's not a theory anymore, guys. It's a conspiracy fact.